Howard did some of the work himself because he knows how to spray a little can on where it's leaking, and he knows how to put insulation on his basement wall. Well, you pay somebody. Well, so it's 6 years payback. I mean, it's there. So that was pretty amazing. Now, Howard was like me, sort of crazy. He says, I want to be like his other, he has two friends, Borton and me, another guy who told me how to do everything. I want to be like those guys. I want to have a climate positive, energy positive house. So he got his dad died, he got a little extra money. So he went and bought himself a PV system, put in an airtight wood stove, and did a few other things. This was before he did those improvements. Now, after all the improvements, down to 18 million BTUs, and his reduction in fossil fuel use was 86%. But Howard's making electricity on his PV, and because, you know, the physics of it, the energy you get by PV is the energy you use. Everything you make, you use. It all comes in free from the sun. But if you buy energy from a kilowatt hour from your local power company, and they're using coal, I don't know, you don't do that here, but out west we do that, it takes 4 times the amount of energy in the electricity to get you that kilowatt hour. And that reduces a lot of CO2. So Howard, CO2 for the little bit of natural gas he uses greatly offset by the PV that he does, and so he's a climate positive house. And that all cost him the total bit for the whole thing, that was $25,000. The payback that is a little bit longer, but Howard, like some of the rest of us, realized that money is just a, it's a figment of our imagination, whereas climate change isn't, and CO2 isn't. So, well, how is this relevant to your thing? This is the Adam Joseph Lewis Center. Again, it did the kind of things, it's the model for how you do these things. First off, it reduced. It runs on 30% of the energy of a standard classroom office building. So they built it so it was a high-performance building. Now you got it down to 30% of the energy use, then you can put PV on the roof, and it's affordable to get all the rest of the energy from electricity. So reducing 50% is a piece of cake, and it's the best sort of thing your people on your portfolio of the college could do. Make an investment in yourself. And your parents, that's the best thing your parents could do too. Go tell your parents, look, hey, Mom, Dad, I'm going to guarantee you 25% return. Oh, give them 15%. That'll be good enough. And then you'll have a lot of room for error. And they can make it in themselves, and there you are. If you believe that this is important. If you think money is important, well, then you probably have a lot of money. You don't worry about that. So here we are being climate positive. I just talked about operating energy. So you're going to have to look at a lot of other things, and we're looking at these too. You have to deal with, you have to feed yourself. Well, that's, that takes, we have to get that down so there's no net carbon from that. You've got to have transportation, you need health care, you need clothing, you need technology, you need public services, and all the rest. And that's a big deal. So let me tell you, this operating energy is a piece of cake compared to this. This is the big challenge. This is where you're really going to have to work harder. So remember, there's one world, one experiment. We go back to the beginning. Believe in God. Believe in miracles. Believe in extrasensory perception. Believe anything, okay? Believe anything you want. The human brain can do that. We don't care about these fancy things, the tooth fairy. I don't care what you believe in, But when it comes down to making critical decisions that make a difference, base it upon established science. And if we did that on all of our mega environmental issues, they would quickly be on the way to resolution. Every single one of them. So we live in a fantasy world, we can believe anything, so let's believe the story that we've now been told over the last 400 or 500 years by hard-won science about how things actually work, and apply that to the problems. But if you want to have a fantasy, have any fantasy you want. Any fantasy you want, right? Because it's good to have fantasies and you can have fun. I got a granddaughter, she lives in an absolute fantasy world all the time. And her two brothers are right along with it, right? And this is wonderful, right? But when they grow up, I hope that they'll realize that that's a wonderful way to feel good about certain things, but not a way to decide critical decisions. Where are we? I thought, but you know, hopefully it was entertaining at least. All right, we need all these pent-up questions. You know, I've really harassed what culture is inculcated in you, and you know what I'm telling you has got to be wrong, or at least sort of a lunatic sort of perspective. So, yes.
Hi, I was curious about your house trail magic, and you were saying a lot of your friends were also doing it. I was wondering if it's like a very popular thing. Like, are there any like famous climate neutral houses, or is it just sort of?
There are a lot of folks that have done this sort of thing. Very few have done what I've done in terms of being a scientist. What you see here is 2 years data, and there's probably no houses in the county I live in, probably none in northern Ohio, that are studied and know everything about it. I mean, I know everything I can get with a simple measurement, and the kind of things that we've done. Few have done that. There are a lot of people that live off the grid, right? So they just by definition have all their operating energy for what they're doing. Well, that doesn't mean they couldn't have oil furnaces or gas furnaces. But anyway, a lot of people have done this. There's all kinds of people in Vermont that have, you know, live very, very simply. But we have a Cadillac house. I mean, you'd love to live in our house. I mean, it's a gorgeous house, and you feel good in it. I mean, sand, you know, seasonal affective disorder, you maybe don't get it here. But anyway, out where we are, it's cloudy all the time. You know, there are people, they have cabin fever and everything. It doesn't happen. You feel good even on a cloudy day in our house because it's just light. And so, not many people have documented it. So I've gone and few have documented cost like I've done. And there are a lot of houses that have, you know, been, you know, high performance and off the grid, but they have 10 kW systems on their roof, and they spent, you know, $250, $300 per square foot for what they've done. I mean, we tried to build a custom house for the quality house construction in our area, which I think we did. And if you take out all the fancy features, we're right down with, you know, what developers do. Now that, you know, we can't reach the bottom, you know, 20% of people. They probably can't do that. They need help. But, you know, everybody else, at least 50% of the people in this country could do this without any sweat. So, yeah, and we've written a book on it, and hopefully you guys will, you know, read the book and pass it on to your friends, and, you know, get out there. A lot of people read it, Trail Magic will be famous. But anyway, for good reasons, hopefully. Because we think that it's easily doable. Yes?
Have you thought about adding a greenhouse?
Yes, you know, I had that in the original owner's plan, you know, where our architect said, tell us what you want and what you want every room to do and how you want to live, and I'll design the house that'll work. And it was really strange because I had forgotten in the original, when I writing the book, I went back and read all this stuff. And our architect kept on coming up about the greenhouses. Now, where did Don get the damn greenhouse? You know, I went back there and read it. It was in my original plan. It eventually got pulled out because it's very tricky doing a greenhouse. If you integrate it in the house, you have moisture problems. And I just didn't, I'm a KISS guy. I really wanted it to work. And then I realized I didn't have enough money to do it anyway, to do the greenhouse. But I am going to build a little hoop house. I got a sun patio. So on the south side of the house, we have a sun patio. And I put a little hoop house there, which will, you know, will grow start our seedlings in, and we can start having lettuce and stuff a couple months early, and then throw it a little into the summer. Yeah, we're gonna do that, but I just couldn't quite do everything at once. And we built the house while we were still working in Troy, New York. And this was done in it's a really bad idea. You don't ever want to do anything like that. But anyway, yeah, we think greenhouse. Yeah, we're thinking about that. And we have a big garden. I got a 6,000-foot garden. I've expanded the garden now. We're gonna raise all of our own food. Came close last year, and now we've doubled the size. So we're gonna equivalent of our own food, right? Still gonna get great food from Florida, but you know, we'll send them potatoes. Yes.
Carl, I'm with you. I'm with you.
You're with me? You want to come live there? We got a nice room down below.
Yeah. Am I
You better watch out, Carl. He's graduating.
yeah, I'm looking for places to live. So.